keeps cutting out.
Yeah, that might be happening with everything. Uh, well, YouTube says we're live, so roll it.
Well, that's a unique cold open. What are we, SNL? So
Yes.
it is
Sorry, but when you're streaming on
12:30.
YouTube for the first time.
Well, YouTube's better and Google Hangouts is better too. And of course, they have to mess with perfection.
Yeah.
So basically, it's 12:30 in the morning on October 1st, at least here on the East Coast, here in beautiful, now rainy Orlando, Florida. Ashley seems to be just as tired as I am. Thing is, notice conspicuous by his absence is AJ here. AJ's video actually should be up before ours, so stay tuned for that. That video is going to be up, so you can check out his predictions as well. I don't know how well this is going to go. Obviously, I am in midst of Halloween Horror Nights season, so it's kind of like don't have time to really do anything properly. So that's the reason why we're doing the separate videos. And I'm so far disconnected from everything. Basically, it wouldn't work to do three separate videos. So since Ashley can carry a little bit of the load here, as always, pun intended in this situation, I would definitely say that it makes good sense to do it this way. So, welcome to yet another awards prediction podcast exclusively here on the Popcast Network. My name is Owen. Joining me as always is Ashley.
Howdy do.
And I'll shoot with you guys literally like 14 hours ago. Did these predictions. So, yeah, it's going to be one of those like trying to throw a dart and try to hit a bullseye in the month of September. This is your September. And we are trying to predict the big 8 categories here of the 2020 Academy Awards. And we're going to do that tonight. And live chat, if you are listening, obviously we don't have a way to do so. But if you have any comments, leave them in the comments below.
Just put
Or
something.
Ashley can take.
I'll put something in there just in case anybody is watching.
Yeah. We're also broadcasting currently on Twitch.
No, we're not. We're just on YouTube.
No.
I don't have the.
Yay.
I don't know how to stream to both, and I thought, if let's see how it is on streaming to YouTube, and
Mm.
because I still haven't worked out whether if I go on to the, because I'm using the old control room rather than the new sort
Good.
of updated beta one, as to whether that actually works or not. So
That's garbage, and I'm not using it.
no, but it's like I don't know if I set a thing whether it will actually encode and whether I have to do it that way or whether I have to do it doing with the new YouTube thing, whether I have to do it not using OBS. So technical stuff.
I'll be honest, it's super nice. I don't have to worry about this right now. So yeah,
We seem to be coming through somewhat clear though.
that's good. Better than the last time.
Yeah. Well, that I don't know if that was sort of connection and whatever, because you're sounding a lot clearer on this one.
Well, I'm also doing the headphones, as you can see. So I mean, that
True.
might help a little bit
Yeah,
too.
possibly. I'm not sure. So
Do we have anything? Obviously, AJ usually covers the state of the race right now. Obviously, we just had TIFF drop and everything, and a lot of surprises coming out. A lot of horses in the race have been shot on sight. A lot of horses in the race are now more of a contender than people thought they would be. So, Ashley, what is the current state of the race right now?
I mean, if we go from Venice, the big success out of that, I would argue, was Joker, especially considering it like picked up the award. Then in
Mm-hmm.
turn, we've got all the beautiful foreseen furore over the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
which, you know, if you've seen the mainstream media stuff, they've been picking up quite a lot of it. You know, how it's maybe a bit too similar to some of the thing. I know there was the people that were representing the victims of the Aurora shooting for The
Mm,
Dark Knight Rises,
right.
that were not sort of happy with the reported direction of the thing. And when this was brought up in various press interviews, um, in one of them, Joaquin Phoenix walked out saying, he's just basically saying, no, that's not it, no. And Todd Phillips was sort of coming to sort of the defense of the thing. And so
Mm.
much so that the US premiere, which I believe was this time last week, I'm not sure. Might even be this week. It might be like happening sort of now. Uh, press
I
access
mean,
is press access is extremely limited, if not any, to like interviews on the red carpet sort of thing.
mm.
Doesn't help the
So,
situation.
well, the movie comes out this Friday at least. Like it
Yeah,
opens here on Thursday night. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it in the direction that the movie's going to go.
another one of the big ones at Venice was at Astra,
Yep.
which I enjoyed. I don't know whether it's in my predictions. I can't remember the list. I'll have a look at it in a minute. Um,
Yeah, we'll see what happens with AJ's predictions, which I'll be honest with you guys, because I shoot straight as always. When it comes down to it, I haven't got a chance to watch AJ's predictions yet because I literally just got to the apartment. So it's kind of like I have them. I will put them up. They will be up before
hmm,
ours, but I don't have them. I don't know exactly what he said. So
yeah. Marriage Story got a good response.
thankfully,
The big one was what was the other film festival? Was it Cannes? No, we do.
I
No, that
know
was ages
Hustlers
ago.
has been getting a lot of buzz lately too.
Yes. Well, that's been doing pretty. The one thing I saw from somebody's tweet, I don't know whether it was the box office relations or whatever they are tweet thing,
Hmm.
or somebody in response to it said that Hustlers has now made more at the US box office than, which only had like a $15 million budget, more money at the box office than either X Men Dark Phoenix or Men in Black International.
Neither of those matter, so it's okay.
No, but it's like big blockbusters like that have done less money than this relatively small independent film, which, considering the situation of STX at the minute, is something that they probably need for them to actually survive.
Mm.
Because the financial woes I'm hearing about them, it's like pretty brutal. And then, of course, The Laundromat went live on Netflix as well on Friday to middling to decent reviews. So I don't know where that's going to fall in terms of everything.
We shall see.
And then from Toronto, uh, Jojo Rabbit had all the momentum given that it was the People's Choice Award.
Yeah.
There was also some sort of honor for Joaquin Phoenix. I think it certainly was happening somewhat during the thing because I saw some bits where Joaquin was crying and whatever.
Mm.
That I vaguely remember. Interestingly, the first runner-up was Marriage Story. The second runner-up for People's Choice was Parasite. So, and I'm annoyed about Parasite because I can't put it in my list for this year when we do, you know, me and AJ do our sort of lists for the actual sort of year because it's not coming out here till February. Thanks, international releasing. Um, We've also got, in terms of the race, we've got the London Film Festival coming up, uh, starting I think this week. Let me see if we've got the actual list. Where is the London Film Festival? Damn it! The big one that I know that's at the London Film Festival is the Irishman. It's going to have its European premiere. Uh, oh, okay. I was trying to look at the actual details of the festival, and it doesn't list them, which is great. Uh, but no, I know the Irishman is because they're actually doing sort of simulcasts at various local cinemas around the country. Very limited, of course, because most of the cinema chains won't want to deal with it because of the whole Netflix deal.
Right.
But luckily, there is one locally to me that's showing it along with sort of red carpet stuff. So I guess that means, Pacino and De Niro and Scorsese and will be there and everything. Let me have a quick look through the list. They're actually having Abominable as part of the festival, which, from what I heard, that sort of struggled. Aeronauts, which I don't even know if it's even been screened yet anywhere other than there, so I don't know if that's a sort of premiere. I know, what is it? A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood is being shown. I'm trying to, is it going to be in the festival brochure? I'm trying to get like a list of like the big films. Oh, Le Mans '66 maybe. It's actually on the. That's 112 pages. I'm not looking through that, you bastard. It's a lot of pages. Please, can the festival calendar be less pages? I'm just trying to get a gauge because a lot of the LFF stuff normally is the stuff that does show up. Oh, good, that's 10 pages. That's stuff I can
Mhm.
actually look at. The festival's actually opening Wednesday, so basically a day from now, with the personal history of David Copperfield, the Armando Iannucci directed thing. Which, from the reviews that I heard from, because I think it was shown at TIFF, from pretty decent replies for that. Peanut Butter Falcon's getting shown over here as part of the festival. Trying to look through because yeah, there's an Abominable. Abominable followed by Jojo Rabbit. That's going to be a weird double bill if you manage to see that. Then again, so's Jojo Rabbit and Marriage Story. So there's Aeronauts. Knives Out is going to be shown. Bad Education. Surprise film. Oh, they're doing that again. La Lorna. Oh god, there's another one. Oh, there's Le Mans '66, so they are showing it. Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, followed by The Irishman. Well, that's an order. I guess. Um, yeah, if there's anything else that I'm missing, it's probably because it's not in the. There's too many films for me to look through, but those are the sort of films that are in contention. I would argue from London Film Festival, which
Okay.
is, you know, just getting underway. In terms of other stuff, um, the obvious one, which I can't remember whether it was at a film festival or not, was Goldfinch. Goldfinch had all this potential and everything, and then the reviews came out and they were not kind. And then box office wise, if I have a quick look at Box Office Mojo, where is it? Geez, it fell nearly 80% in its second week. It's taken $5 million in total over the 2 weeks. Sorry, over the 3 weeks of release. The rumor is, with the money that they've spent, obviously for advertising and whatever, they're going to be losing at least $40 to $50 million on it.
Wow.
I haven't seen it. I'm going to be seeing it this week. I have to see it this week because the UK cinemas are getting rid of it, or the majority of them at least are getting rid of it after only 1 week, which probably shows you how lasting that is. Uh, so yeah, I'd say that's probably where we stand with the race. Not a
All right.
huge amount of movement. It's more likely going to start to come with London, where a lot of them are starting to show up. I don't know whether Little Women might be because I didn't see that listed in the London Film Festival thing. So I don't know whether that's going to be the mystery film, if you want to call it that. But yeah, that's the best way to sort of get the race covered and whatever.
All right. So if you're new to these videos, where we started this back in August, and this is your September video, your October video becoming the end of the month, November the end of the month, December the end of the month, and then January we predict every single category. Right now we're doing the big eight. So that's going to start with the screenplays and end all the way up to Best Picture. So Ashley, we're going to start off with Best Adapted Screenplay this time around.
Yeah. So I have A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Joker, Jojo Rabbit, Little Women, and Ford versus Ferrari. The only change here is getting rid of Goldfinch, for obvious reasons, as previously mentioned. I'm going to Jojo Rabbit now, given that the response. Although Jojo Rabbit's reviews were sort of, I'd say middling. I think there were some people that didn't appreciate the direction that it went. So it
Mm-hmm.
could be a very divisive film when we actually get to sort of towards the award ceremony. But then again, look at Green Book. A lot of people thought that was divisive, and it somehow got Best Picture. So I don't know. I'm sticking with Joker for the time being.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I'm not sure what else is going to fall into it just yet. Probably by the end of October, certainly by the end of November, when we're getting towards the nominations for the Globes coming out, we'll
Right.
get a better idea of sort of what's going to be in what category, and obviously whether some of these would be considered original or adapted.
It's funny you mentioned that. That plays into my predictions. My best adapted screenplay lineup is very similar to yours. Jojo Rabbit, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Little Women, The Irishman, and Joker. You'll notice that Ford versus Ferrari was in here last month, and I moved it out because what I'm seeing, more and more people are saying that Ford versus Ferrari is original. So that's the reason I moved it out of adapted and put it in original instead. I don't know how that works exactly. We'll find out when we start getting actual
Yeah,
nominations coming out of any kind. But what I'm seeing
when
is
we
it's
actually
original.
get the
So
whole idea of, is it?
it's, and playing on that too, it's just like the Tom Hanks situation. Obviously, it made sense to run him in leading, but now he's officially campaigning as supporting. So, I mean, I had to change some things around there too. So, we'll get to that in a bit. I'm happy with my five, at least right now. Best original screenplay.
I'm having to make adjustments on the fly now because of Hanks. God damn it. Um,
That's
quite
what I had to do earlier.
quite simply, mine stayed the same for original. I'm sticking with, for the time being, Farewell, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Harriet, Pain and Glory, and Booksmart. Not much has changed in that. I don't feel confident enough to sort of go towards Marriage Story yet, or sort of, maybe bring Us in. 1917 has me intrigued because of the news that came out today that although it might not be technically this,
Mm.
the idea is that the entire film is going to be one continuous shot from start to finish.
I don't
Obviously, with
know.
some trickery here and there, but the idea is that it's going to sort of make it look as if it's one shot somehow. So, I guess that makes it a
Well,
play.
original screenplay, again, with the category change that I had to see with putting Ford versus Ferrari in, I had to move it into contention, which means I had to drop Pain and Glory from my list. But we pick it up later on, so it's okay. Best original screenplay. My lineup is The Farewell, Ford versus Ferrari, Us, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Marriage Story. Do I think Us is going to be another Get Out? Potentially. But the thing about it is, a lot of people are kind of sleeping on it right now, so I don't know how much power it's going to have. I don't have Jordan Peele running or anything like that. I don't have him running for director. But I mean, I do think Us is still in contention, at least here in September, now officially October. But the thing is, I'm okay with this lineup. I am going all in on Marriage Story, of course, as you've seen in the situation. And the horse in the race that we all have is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So, and it looks like the AJ curse will once again be broken this year. So,
Well, we'll
I'm good with
see.
that lineup so far.
The advantage that that has is it's sort of already out, so other scandals can envelop other films first.
Possibly. And moving to that, we're going to go to Best Supporting Actress.
Mine sticks the same as last time as well. Shenzhen Zhao for Farewell, which having now seen, I really feel happy in that being in there. I don't know whether it will actually be in there when it gets to the actual predictions, but it's probably gonna be in my 5 at the end of the year. Also, Meryl Streep for The Laundromat, because hashtag you've always got to have Meryl Streep in contention at least somewhere down the line. That's a long
We'll get to
hashtag.
that.
Janelle Monáe for Harriet, Jennifer Hudson for Cats, and Maggie Smith for Downton Abbey, because I don't feel confident about putting a fifth one in there just yet.
Okay. My Best Supporting Actress has changed with one exception. Everything else stayed the same. The other four are remaining. Annette Bening for The Report, Margot Robbie for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Penelope Cruz for Pain and Glory, Laura Dern for Marriage Story, and just like you said that you can never go wrong with Meryl Streep, I bumped her out for Maggie Smith for Downton Abbey. It's a little bit of a dangerous proposition, but I'm going with it. It's September.
I
I've
mean,
got time.
it is weird that like Meryl and Tom are both supporting, despite the fact they're arguably maybe the lead role somewhat in their
Mhm.
respective films. So very strange.
Yeah, that's like best supporting. The supporting category, I feel, are like revolving doors every year. I think actors probably a lot more locked up than actresses at this point, at least in part. So supporting actors could change. It really could, as the race grows on. There could be something that we're not even thinking about right now that could roll in to take one of those slots. We'll have to wait and see. Because as much as we campaign Once Upon a Time in Hollywood on this network, when it comes down to it, Margot Robbie may be the one that misses. It's very possible, but we'll have to wait and see. One of the best categories every single year, Best Supporting Actor.
Yes. A few changes here.
Thanks,
So
category fraud.
the ones that stayed the same were Christian Bale for Ford versus Ferrari, Brad Pitt for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I think it was Joe Pesci that I had in for The Irishman. It might have been Al Pacino. Either way, both of them are in now because Snipes got ditched out because that was just the curveball, and I've now pulled out Defoe to put Hanks in, if that's the official word on the street.
That's what we're hearing.
In term
Category fraud for the win.
in terms of Irish, which is interesting though, because in that case, it like if this is fraud, dear Lord, this is the actual. Sometimes you do have bloodbaths in the main sort of actor and actresses. No supporting actor is the bloodbath this year.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, totally.
Because I honestly don't know from what I've heard whether the lead supporting actor should go to Pesci or Pacino. Because I've heard such good things about both their performances
Yeah, we'll get
regarding
to that. Don't
Irishman.
worry.
All 3.5 hours of it.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute.
So yeah, I've got Pesci and Pacino both in for the Irishman, along with Hanks, and then Bale and Pitt for sure are the ones that I remember from last time.
All right. Obviously, with the Tom Hanks category change, I had to make a switch. And it's funny how you went all in on The Irishman. I dropped it. I had to move Pacino out and put Hanks in because I'm still going with the front runner, which I'm super happy to say, at least now, is still Brad Pitt for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And of course, Christian Bale for Ford versus Ferrari, Alan Alda for Marriage Story, and yes, I'm sticking with Taika Waititi for Jojo Rabbit. I think that's your shock surprise, like your upset nomination. I've done a lot with Jojo Rabbit in the lineups, and I'm very confident right now. But having to move Pacino out, who I had originally in over Pesci, I'm it's hard because the only thing I could really bump out at this point is my love for Jojo Rabbit. But the thing about it is, because I can't see Bale's not going to miss, Pitt's not going to miss, Hanks I don't think is going to miss now. None of the three of them are missing, so it's down to who the last two are. I think Alda's got a very strong presence, and I think he's getting a nomination. It's that fifth slot that's always the question, and this year it's going to be just that.
Mm-hmm. I
And
mean,
speaking of a category,
with all the money that Netflix have put in, they're gonna be, if they could get a double nomination in it,
yep.
which is, as I say, with the length of the film, it's probably feasible. Because it's from what I've heard, they're both in it, probably just as much as De Niro is in the lead. So we'll see.
Speaking of a category that's kind of all over the place and probably could change with the drop of a dime, Best Actress.
Yeah. Um. As it stands, the uh, the four that have stayed the same are Cynthia Erivo for Harriet, Aquafina for The Farewell, Saoirse Ronan for Little Women, and Lupita Nyong'o for Us. I've switched out Jessie Buckley for Wild Rose because I don't know whether that will be sort of big enough or get enough attention. But certainly keep an eye out for it in terms of the BAFTAs, I would argue.
Mm.
However, her co-star from this next movie, um, it's ironic because she got switched out for Renee Zellweger for Judy, which, as I say, Jessie Buckley's in. If you've seen the trailer, so I guess Jessie sort of gets a nomination as well. Yeah, when it premiered, I think when it was at Toronto, for some reason it got a 6 minute standing ovation just for Zellweger from reviews that have basically said it's an okay film, and most of them touching on she is the sort of thing that glues it together to sort of make it work as an okay film. And we've seen plenty of times at these award things how average films get in here because of like solo standout performances. So I think when I should
Right.
have gone for it in the first place, maybe taking out Aquafina or Lupita Nyong'o, or maybe Saoirse Ronan, because I haven't seen the trailer. Looks good for it, but I haven't seen much else on that front for it. So yeah, that's how it stands for me.
My actress lineup. You mentioned Cynthia. Um, I feel like Harriet's going to come and go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Comparisons to Selma. Problem with that is Selma got in, so I will see. Honestly, I'm keeping my lineup the same, other than the big change of moving Erivo out and moving Renee Zellweger in for Judy. Has quickly become, even here in the early onset, the front runner right now. How much you could say of a front runner status someone has at 2 months of campaigning without any awards even on the books right now is beyond me. But still, that's what I'm. It's more of the buzz is about Zellweger, and I think that that's probably going to continue. So, if you don't recall, my best actress lineup also would be Saoirse Ronan for Little Women, Scarlett Johansson for Marriage Story, Lupita Nyong'o for Us, and Thomasin Harcourt McKenzie for Jojo Rabbit.
It
Drop of a
seems fair.
dime, things can change. Speaking of drop of a dime, you want to talk about a star-studded event? That would be Best Actor this year.
Yeah, and there's a lot of names that I don't even have in the list
Same.
as it stands. I am surprisingly, for the time being, sticking with Daniel Kaluuya for Queen and Slim and Eddie Redmayne for the Aeronauts. Those are the ones that are on the bubble for me as it stands. The one that's probably not so much on the bubble, but depending on how the response is to everything and all that, I've still got Joaquin Phoenix for Joker in here. The only dead cert that stays in is Banderas for Pain and Glory. And because of the Hanks move, I've brought in De Niro for The Irishman. Now, it's good when the headlines is Netflix has a problem and it's called The Irishman.
So, Best Actor is going to stay the same with one notable exception because of Tom Hanks. So, obviously, with the category change, I had to move someone in, and I decided to get on that train, get on that Joaquin train, and move him into my fifth slot, joining Antonio Banderas for Pain and Glory, Adam Driver for Marriage Story, Leonardo DiCaprio for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and yes, Robert De Niro for The Irishman. That 5 is stellar. I would be so happy if that was the running this year. And it could be. We shall have to see.
Certainly.
Best director.
So I dropped out Tom Harper for the Aeronauts, and in its place goes Scorsese for the Irishman. Which means I'm sticking at the minute with Tarantino for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Lulu Wang for The Farewell, Mario Heller for Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, and Greta Gerwig for Little Women. Although, that being said, the one that's maybe sort of cropping up and maybe a contender, I can't even remember what it is now because I had a brain fart. Whee! Oh yeah, uh, Todd Phillips for something, because
So funny.
Joker seems good, but the trailer for the I can't remember what it's called. Is it going by like the name Dark Water? I can't even remember.
Something like that.
Yeah, on Todd Phillips director. It's weird that he's got like the possibility of 2 films. It's not even listed in his filmography. Thanks, Wikipedia. Really? Is it not? I've seen like a trailer for it. It's got. It basically looks like. I can't even remember. It's got Mark Ruffalo in it. That's why I'm confused. Have I got to look this up now? Oh no, that's producer credits. That might be why. No, that's the Hulk Hogan. Is it him or am I getting another name mixed up on it? I'm having to do a quick check because I thought it was Todd Phillips doing it.
At any rate,
Uh, Dark Waters. That's what it's going by. Oh, Todd Haynes. That's what I'm getting it confused with. It's Todd Haynes, Far From Heaven.
okay. All right, so my best director lineup has switched again. I bumped Marielle Heller out. I don't know how comfortable I am with that. I'm just going to insert Todd Phillips in instead for Joker. Joker is going to be a big deal. If it's not, then it's going to crash and burn. But I have a feeling it's going to be a big deal.
Yeah, in some aspect. It's gonna get a box office. I'd have thought. In terms of good or bad, we'll have to see how it sort of works out in
Right.
responses and all that.
Of course, that director lineup is also joined still by Quentin Tarantino for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Martin Scorsese for The Irishman, and the star-crossed lovers Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach for Little Women and Marriage Story, respectively. Just realized, must have been watching or thinking about wrestling at the time because I wrote Noam Baumbach on my notes.
Seems
That's a
legit.
thing.
Seems legit.
Speaking of a thing, Best Picture.
Right. Yeah, the 9.
Yeah, we do 9 here on the network.
I've dropped out 1917 and the Aeronauts. And in their place go Jojo Rabbit and Marriage Story. Mainly just to sort of fill the gaps because with the big names already being in there, at least in my list, those being Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Farewell, Irishman, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Little Women, Harriet and Joker. Um, it's weird that I'm not putting Ford versus Ferrari in there, but I'm sort of hoping that I hear more buzz out of it when it shows at London. Don't even know if it got good reviews out of Toronto. I have to have a quick look. But yeah, for now, I'd probably say that's where it stands for me at the minute.
Okay. I had to make a painful cut for my list, at least, that may end up having to replace something down the line. I'm very comfortable with most of my list, but there's a couple that I'm not. I'm kind of on the fence about. My best picture lineup remains Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Ford versus Ferrari, Jojo Rabbit, Little Women, Marriage Story, The Irishman, Us, and replacing Pain and Glory is Joker. Because why not?
Why not?
Maybe Us is going to fall by the wayside. Maybe Lapita is the only one that's going to get it. I guess we'll just have to wait and see in a couple months when we start actually getting concrete categories, starting to fill in the blanks with film festivals.
I'm
And I
trying to
think
think.
on that note,
I'm trying to think when the first awards are coming out. Let me see if I can.
it is 1 in the morning and I have not
I
looked at
know.
any sort of documentation.
I was trying to have a quick look in terms of when the awards come out for. It's one of the film circles. I don't know whether it's Gotham. I think that's one of the first ones, isn't it? Gotham Film Awards. Gotham Awards. Oh, they're independent. That doesn't really help. December 2nd is this year's one. So we're probably about. It's normally I think about mid-November. I think it's like the Los Angeles Film Critics Circle or something. That is one of the first ones that gives a sign as to what to keep an eye on. And then with the Golden Globes being really early January, those nominations will probably be sort of December time as well. So
Yep.
But other than that, yeah, I think that's probably a good place to end it.
Yep. So, don't know if we're going to be doing combined video, an actual podcast at the end of this month or not. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Just depends. It's super busy. Last week of October, we basically worked pretty much an entire week straight with 1 day off. So it's kind of like that may or may not have to wait. Stay tuned for more information on the next podcast or the next Oscar prediction video sometime in the end of this month. Ashley will be returning with more Gaming with Ash, more snack stashes, more content
Certainly
in the near
snack
future.
stashes because McDonald's have reintroduced their great taste of the world stuff. So
There you go.
that's at least 6 burgers that have got to be done over the next 7 weeks.
It's October. Of course, you know that also means it's horror themed versus time here on the network. So we have a lot of verses coming your way. Lots of AJ's movie reviews. There is a video that I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. You're just going to have to wait and see that AJ did with his brother Chris. That I'll shoot with you guys. The video is about 3 hours long. So get ready for it. Don't know when it's coming, sometime in the near future. So stay tuned for that. lots more Voices of Liberty coming in the near future as well. More Sip and Snacks coming sporadically. And who knows? Maybe we might return to wrestling. We'll have to wait and see. So that's going to be your videos for tonight. And follow Ashley on Twitter at Ashley's My Name UK. And Ashley, are you still streaming on Twitch as well?
I haven't streamed Twitch things in a bit, but I sort of have been getting the inkling to do it again. So maybe. So twitch.tv/ Ashley is my name is the channel
Okay,
over there. Give it a follow and whatever. You might be able to see stuff.
cool. So you can follow us at Popcast Network. Follow me on Twitter at Sir Owen Disney. If you have any ideas for Sip and Snack or Versus and the other regular segments on the network, feel free to shoot me an email, sirowen@gmail.com. So we'll join you guys again in the end of the month for the next set of Oscar predictions. In the meantime, I want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
It's not a tragedy. It's a fucking comedy.